Well, hello again. This is my second video, and I didn't introduce myself in the first, so let me do it now. I'm Bert, and I live in Cromwell County, Cambridgeshire, in the UK. Now, I wanted to talk to you about the hypocrisy we now have blatantly rearing its head in the West. In particular, the main culprit being the US and unfortunately the UK. And it's become blatantly clear as well. Everybody must know that they just feed us a lot of BS. They don't want to tell us the truth. They don't even want to be accountable to us. I mean, I'm talking about the situation that's now developing and which is very dangerous to all of us. And we should be very concerned about it. The situation between Iran and Israel. Now, Israel, unbelievably, they're just lying through their teeth all the time. They claim ridiculous things like they are a country who want peace. No, they don't. They haven't wanted peace since 1948. And they've murdered and stolen just about anything they could lay their hands on for any fictitious reason. And the trauma they actually basically living through was of their own making. I've got no sympathy with the Zionist zealots in Israel. None whatsoever. They're dangerous. They're so dangerous they are likely to use nuclear weapons and cause World War III. Forcing America shouldn't be able to be forced, but I think they're so deep in their pockets they don't have really any own will anymore. And I think the same could be said really for Europe. I mean, Cameron made an absolute fool of himself. And so is Rishi Sunak, but hey, what do you expect from an unelected Prime Minister leading an unelected government? They will do anything or say anything to basically just carry on and preserve their own power position. And what people should realize is they don't have any power without us. None. We are the power. And we should tell them, enough is enough. Your job is to keep us safe, not risk our lives. But that's what they're doing. And they're being so hypocritical, it's laughable. Absolutely ridiculous. I mean, the tales they're telling about Israel's victory. No, Israel didn't win. They lost. Iran won because they demonstrated very clearly that they could basically hit any part of Israel they wanted. And the majority of their drones and missiles were decoys. They fooled and exhausted the Iron Dome and all their Patriot missiles and God knows what else they have. Iran made very clear they didn't want to hurt the public. I know the West is now trying to make out, just imagine the damage that would have done to... No, that wasn't. They were aiming at military installations. And they hit exactly what they wanted. And that was the basis where the planning and the planes took off to attack the Damascus consulate. 5 missiles went through. Iran planned this and planned well. And they were entitled. There is no number of missiles restricted under Article 51. And most of them the Iranians knew. I mean, come on, they sent them 5 hours early. Everybody knew they were coming. They were even informed about it, even though the Americans trying to deny it. That's more BS. They're trying to make out black as white. It's not. And we should all know that. And what they are doing is increasingly restricting our freedoms, trying to tell us what to do. And the reason for why? It's because we have a silent majority. People too scared and too cowardly to speak up. They'd like others to take their position and risk their lives and their futures and everything else to make them carry on in their comfort. Well, wake up. You're not going to have your comfort much longer. Do you think in your right minds you're going to be left unscathed? Do you think you're going to be left alone to live your life in peace? No, you won't. They'll be coming knocking on your door too. Just a matter of time. And those Zionist supporters, many of the worst of them actually in the West, Christians, so-called Christians. How can you claim that you're religious when all these actions that are done now are so wrong? You would have to fear hell, but you don't. You don't. And if you don't fear hell, how are you religious? What kind of religion is that? I call it weekend Christians, right? Go to church and pray on Sundays and be as hypocritical as you like during the week. You're not Christians. So wake up. And it is your silence that enables the killing to continue. It is your silence that enables basically governments to see your silence as consent. Don't you think you got a responsibility for your children and for their future? Is that a kind of legacy you want for them? Is it? You think just feeding them and sending them off to school and clothing them nicely and having parties is all there is to it? No, you're the adults in the room. You are responsible for their future. And you're avoiding it by not speaking up. Speak up. Tell them that's enough is enough. You don't want this. They will have to listen to you. You may not think so, but just look around. Why are the demonstrations, which are not all that big, well, they're big enough, but they're not that big, having an effect? If they were much bigger, the government would have to fear you, because that's what they fear, public opinion. They would have to cave in. They would have to. But you're complicit in your silence. And you need to change that if you want something different. If you don't, saying there's nothing you can do about it is BS. You can, if you want. So how about it? You want it to get worse? Or do you want to save the freedoms and the rights your fathers and grandfathers died for? So you fritter them away? Is that what they died for? I don't think so. And if I can see that as an old man, so should you. So wake up and speak up. And that's all I got to say. It doesn't take any more than that. No violence, no malevolence. Just speak up. If there's nothing else, there's always hope. Let's hope it will happen. Okay, all I gotta say.